It's a big twist in the spine-chilling murder of a 4-year-old child by his own mother. It's the story that has numbed India. It's the story everyone's talking about. According to the police report, after the murder of the little boy, the police found a note, a written note in the bag in which Suchana Seth had kept the dead body of her 4-year-old son. That note was written on a tissue paper using eyeliner, apparently. Police sources have told India Today that the Karnataka police found out about the boy's body inside the bag. When Suchana was asked to open the bag, she showed the part to the police where the boy's clothes and toys were kept. It was only after a lady police officer intervened that the body inside the bag was revealed. So she actually tried to hide it even after the police confronted her about what's inside the bag. The note that was written in eyeliner apparently read, "No matter what happens, the custody of the child will remain with me. Even if there is a divorce, the custody of the child will remain with me," unquote. Now, even more than that, more revelations have been unearthed. Suchana allegedly also told her friends that her son reminds her of her husband. Remember, all of this is information that is only being alleged. The police also suspect that Suchana used cough syrup to sedate her son before the crime that she has now been accused of. Now, I want to answer a question that many people have been wondering about, speculating about, conjecturing about all week, and that is, what is the psychology for such a horrific crime? Is there any explanation in psychology for such a horrific crime? Remember, this is not about justification. This is about trying to understand what happened. According to Psychology Today, which is a well-known repository of psychological academic work and understanding, here are some of the possibilities. One is a situation called altruism, where parents who believe they have killed their child for real or imagined suffering. Possibility 2, or theory number 2, spousal revenge. Parents kill a child in order to get back at a spouse or partner. It's revenge. Number 3, there's acute psychosis. Parents who killed their child due to some irrational motive which doesn't have a real understanding. Possibility number 4, unwanted child. Parents who look at their child as unexpected or a hindrance to the continuity of their life. Fatal maltreatment. Parents whose children died as an unintended consequence of neglect or domestic violence or sexual abuse or abuse of any kind. Now, we are not experts in this field, but these are some of the theories that are relevant in the field of psychology when it comes to the killing of a child, also called filicide. It's formally called filicide. I want to try and get an expert understanding of this, with the disclaimer that this is a case that's still under investigation. We have no wish to speculate or cast any aspersions on anyone, but we do wish to try and shine the light on a story that has truly horrified us all. Dr. Anjali Chhabria is a psychiatrist and psychotherapist, and she joins me live. Dr. Chhabria, thank you very much for your time, ma'am. Every once in a while a story comes along that, that kind of gets under our skin. And this really is one of them. I've just read out some of the things that are available in the public domain that may or may not explain what could be the case here, ma'am. And I know as a professional, you would need much more time to try and understand the circumstances here. But off the cuff, what do you think, ma'am? What can you say about this case?
So first of all, it's very unfortunate, whatever has happened. And I think it throws light on many issues, even a divorce or maybe an unwanted child, or the pressures, when a divorce is taking place regarding custody. Why does custody become such a long drawn battle? Now, whatever the case, a parent, and I won't say a mother, I would like to keep it gender neutral. A parent killing a child, of course it is alleged, right? Now, all the theories that you've given, okay, of course, a long drawn interview of I don't know how many days, will take to reveal actually what was the motive here. First of all, whether it was her, who was actually killed or whether she had just sedated the child, we do not have the proof. But just going by what you have discussed, what happens in long drawn divorces where the child becomes, like a pawn, and people use the pawn to try and get whatever they want. Sometimes they actually forget about the child, and it's no longer about the child, right? So what
Yes.
happens is there can be anger, there can be revenge, there can be altruism, but for someone to say whether was she psychotic at the time she did it, of course, the act seems really an act of dissociation, because this is not an act that anybody does. And that's why we're all talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. But for someone to be psychotic, there has to be much more. The person has to be out of touch with reality.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if somebody is caught murdering their own child or murdering someone else, they will not be able to cover up the scene so nicely, so beautifully, and for so long. So a person with
Yes.
psychosis will have other features. Okay. For example, there was this case many, many years ago about Raman Raghav, the murderer
Yes,
who would
indeed.
actually, yes, he would stay there at the place of crime, and he would talk to himself. He would respond to hallucinations, and he would continue to, hit the person even after the person had died. Now that was psychosis, so that needed treatment. But of course, here in this case, there is a body found, there is cough syrup found, there is a tissue paper on which something is written, there is, someone who is very, very intelligent. And then the person is also trying to find, she's not devastated by the loss of the child visibly.
Yes.
She's gone around doing her duty. She's gone around doing her job, saying that, no, I don't want to take the taxi. I mean, I don't want to take the plane. I want to take the taxi, etc., etc. Right. So, of course, one really does not know what goes into the mind of a person. It's
Yes.
going to be beyond psychology, criminology, etc., to find out. And
Does
there
that,
is,
Dr.
go
Chabria,
ahead.
what you just mentioned, the fact that Suchana sort of carried on with her work, apparently put her child in that suitcase and traveled with him in a car.
Right.
What does that sort of prima facie suggest to you? How does one explain that kind of disassociation? Because it's a terrible thing that has happened. One would
Right.
imagine that even if such a crime, took place in a moment of insanity, and there is no indication of
Right.
that, that there would be
Right.
some kind of realization. Even that didn't apparently happen, ma'am.
Absolutely. So, one has to understand the personality. When people talk about mental health is poorly understood in our country. Now,
Yeah.
and it covers everything. And what happens is, as psychiatrists, we cringe when such things come up and say, oh, was it because of mental health? Because what happens to people who are suffering from mental health conditions, they start wondering, are we going to do some things like that? But definitely, this is not somebody just falling mentally ill. Okay, this could be a personality. Now, of course, one needs to understand that there are personality disorders, and there are some people who might do anything to get what they want. They may manipulate any situation. So one will have to find out whether there was an underlying personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. Again, here, antisocial doesn't mean asocial. Asocial means people who do not like to talk to others. Antisocial means going against the law. So one will have to find out whether there was underlying all these things. Of
Yeah.
course, sometimes there are also substance abuse, which we do not know about, which may
Very
make
true.
people act really differently, you know.
What,
So,
Dr. Chabria, one final question, and I do want to, this to not only be informative, but, the fact that we've got so many viewers, millions across the country, who are tuning in and watching this story and consuming every aspect of it, which is why we're the only channel that's, reporting it with all responsibility. I want to end by asking you, ma'am, Suchana, there was nothing extraordinary about her. She was a middle-class woman, working in a company, living in a colony, she had friends, active on social media, not a recluse, had a social life. A people like us kind of person. There were
right,
no obvious red flags of any kind. No, nothing awkward, nothing strange, nothing suspicious on the face of it. So I am
right, right.
wondering, do we as a society need to sort of recalibrate how we're looking at people? Do we need to look for different kinds of red flags that people may have missed about Suchana?
So see, first of all, what has happened is it has definitely also become a lonelier world. While
Yeah,
we all may be going around our jobs, doing everything. Okay, when people are under a lot of stress, okay, and for example, the stress of a whatever broken marriage,
yeah,
single child, and maybe sometimes also what happens is that the law in our country, especially where divorces are concerned, can really, make the best person into a beast, because it is frustrating. So maybe there were a lot of other factors that we do not know about, and we are only looking at the normal factors of her life, but loneliness and not having people to connect with, or not having people to even, talk to or help when you're going through something like this. Or I don't even know whether we as a society are we becoming so egotistical or so self-involved that I want something, I want everything, and I am going to get it, and I know how to get it, and that is the antisocial part of it. So there are lots of aspects, and the human brain is not really simple, and every human being is so different. So one will
yeah,
really have to understand what led to this crime. And again, we are just alleging that she committed the crime. It could
absolutely.
have been something else, you
Absolutely.
know.
And hopefully we'll know more going forward. It's an investigation that is continuing right now. Thank you, Dr. Chabria, for helping us understand. I think all of us recognize that mental health and things like this are, we would much rather brush these things under a carpet and not discuss
And
them.
and
It's
actually,
much more.
that's one thing I would like to say is that we should
Yes.
use these opportunities to bring to people that, okay, if you're suffering from something, if you're
Yeah.
having fits of rage, if you feel angry, you feel sad, you feel frustrated, please reach out to
And seek
professionals.
help. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I thank you for that, Dr. Chabria. Dr. Chabria
Thank you.
herself is one of those people you can reach out to if you want. There are many, many experts across the country who are willing to help at any point of time. And we will continue to bring you all of these uncomfortable layers of this terrifying story. In fact, we've got some related breaking news on Suchana Seth coming in now. Okay, the accused mother has been taken to the crime scene in Goa. The hotel where her son, her 4-year-old son, was allegedly murdered by her and put into a suitcase. Suchana Seth has been taken inside that hotel. It's like a homestay apartment building where Suchana Seth has been taken by a police team for recreation of the crime scene. Remember, bloodstains had been found by the police after Suchana had left from that hotel, and it is after that that she was arrested from the Chitradurga district in Karnataka. I want to go across to India Today's Divyesh Singh live from Kalangut in Goa, where this hotel apparently is. Divyesh, crime scene recreation has just taken place. What can you share with us now?
Well, Shiv, just a while ago, Suchana Seth has been brought by the Kalangut police team at the same spot where she allegedly killed her son. These are the same apartments. You can see over here, there are police officials present here. We are not allowed to enter beyond that. But this is the same apartment building, or this what they call as serviced apartments, which had been rented. One of the apartments was rented by Suchana Seth. She was put up in one of those apartments, and when she left, her son was missing. The hotel staff found that the son was seen nowhere. And that's what raised alarm, and after which when they went inside the room for cleaning purpose, they found blood stains on a towel, and they informed the police control room, after which Kalangut police sprung into action, contacted the driver, and the murder case came to light when the driver took the vehicle to a police station in Chitradurga district of Karnataka. Well, now Suchana Seth has been brought to the apartment to recreate the crime scene. As we had earlier also reported that Suchana Seth is not cooperating with the investigation. She is not divulging any kind of details in the past 3 days of custody that she spent in the Kalangut police station, in the Kalangut police lockup. She has not revealed any information regarding what was the motive, why did she kill the kid, what was the trigger, what had happened, what had gone wrong. She has not revealed any details, and that is why police are trying to gather more and more corroborative evidence to build their case against Suchana Seth. As of now, she's been brought here to recreate the crime scene. The senior IPS officer is also present here along with the Kalangut police station investigation team.
Okay, those images that Divyesh is bringing us live from the location where the murder took place in Goa will continue to roll here on India Today. But Divyesh also earlier spoke to a very important piece to this entire puzzle, and that is the driver of the taxi. The driver of the taxi in which Suchana travelled from Goa and was trying to get to Bengaluru with her son's body in a suitcase. His name is Rajon D'Souza, and he was key to Suchana finally being apprehended by the police in Karnataka's Chitradurga. Here's that exclusive first conversation with Rajon D'Souza.
होटल में पहुंचा, मैंने उनको कॉल किया कि गाड़ी बाहर है करके, वो बोले कि मैं आ रही हूँ 2 मिनट में, और वो आ भी गई, 2 मिनट में आ गई, और गाड़ी के पास आके मुझे बोली कि प्लीज थोड़ा मेरा बैग लेके आओ जो रिसेप्शन के पास था। मैंने बोला ठीक है। जैसे मैं बैग लाने को गया तो बैग अनयूजुअली थोड़ा हैवी था, लेकिन क्या लेडीज है तो ऐसा कुछ डाउट नहीं होता है, तो फिर भी मैंने उनको आके पूछा कि मैडम क्या अल्कोहल है क्या इसमें, तो वो बोले कि नहीं है, सिर्फ काम का है सामान। ठीक है बोला, और फिर हम लोग निकल गए, उनसे लोकेशन वगैरह लिया और हम लोग निकल गए। तो पूरे रास्ते पे तो वो साइलेंट ही थी, ऐसा कुछ उन्होंने कुछ बोला भी नहीं। फिर ऐसे 1 घंटे बाद उन्होंने बोला सिर्फ पानी लेना है उनको, तो उधर रोक दो। फिर शॉप पे रोका और हम लोग निकल गए।
क्या सुचना सेठ किसी से फोन पर बात कर रही थी या फिर किसी से रास्ते के दौरान 11-12 घंटे वो आपकी गाड़ी में थी, किसी से फोन पर बात की उन्होंने किसी तरीके से, या आप लोगों से कोई कॉन्वर्सेशन?
नहीं, उनको एक भी फोन नहीं आया, और हमसे भी, हम लोग 2 ड्राइवर थे क्योंकि अर्जेंट ड्रॉप था, इसलिए स्पेयर ड्राइवर था मेरे साथ, तो हम दोनों को उन्होंने मतलब कुछ मुंह ही नहीं खोला एंटायर वे। ऐसा ना उनका फोन बजा, ना उन्होंने किसी को कॉल किया, वो चुप ही थी द एंटायर वे।